So, let's see how the knight gets on in his first battle then. Each of the characters have got their own specialised intros. Ninja leaps onto the scene. Very cocky and confident. Obviously the ninja is a hell of a lot faster than the knight. He's, I believe, the fastest character in the game. Although I've just broken his arm so he can't... Whoa! Now you see what happened there. I broke the ninja's arm so he can't use his shurikens. He then killed me, but I lopped his arm off and he bled out at the same time, leading to a tie. And again, I've lopped the arm off here, and that's a clear victory for the knight. Obviously the ninja, like I said, very fast, fastest in the game, so you've really got to bring the fight to him. His mid-range weapon is honestly one of the best in the game as well, so you really do have to get right in there as best you can. And there we go. You see, he broke my arm that time, causing me to drop my shield. Because the interesting thing about this game, you can break arms and legs and chop them off, and chop heads off. And you have to change up your tactic when your limbs are damaged or severed. And there he goes. Basically, without an arm, you can't use your projectile or your shield if you have one. And without a leg, you can't do your final strike moves. But never mind that, it's time for opponent number 2, the Apache. Now the Apache, again, quite quick, so he holds that over the knight. The problem, of course, the Apache has absolutely no armor whatsoever. So all this impressive display he's given us right now, I fear it may be for nothing. Now he can, of course, fire those arrows in quick succession, as we saw there. Although, again, I mean, the fight is just over in seconds. You can't really stand toe-to-toe with one of the King's Knights if you're not even going to wear the slightest bit of protection. Even the ninja had a shirt on. See if we can hit him with the final strike here. To do a final strike, you hit someone with a special move when they're in a critical state, and here's the knight just crushing the head with that morning star there. And once your brains have been bashed in, there's no standing up. So now we come to the first mini-game. This is the target mini-game. Basically, you've got to do, as the description says, and chop down these pig carcasses. Basically, every character in the game can manage this in 3 or 4 strikes if you just use strong attacks on the Y button. Although the Centurion, I believe, can do it in 2 strikes each, which is very impressive. And of course, making tidy work of those carcasses there. If you haven't already unlocked them at this point, that will unlock your secondary mid-range weapon. Oh, and speak of the devil, here's the Centurion now. And the Centurion, for me, is possibly one of the toughest characters in the game. Not necessarily the best, but definitely one of the more formidable opponents you can face. He's got some of the most vicious weaponry that can just slice you down in very few shots. He's not too fast, but he's very, very sturdy, very resilient, and of course he's got that shield, which lets him block your projectiles quite easily. Although he's not doing a very good job of it there. Not really worth risking a third one there. Let's see if we can take him down. But you see the damage he can do with his... Oh! Ho, ho! Just chopped his head off there. I believe maybe hacked an arm off on the way down. But I mean, notice how much damage he took off with that spear before I was able to kill him there. With just a few strikes, I believe he got my energy down to about halfway there. I am playing on normal difficulty, I should point out. So obviously on the higher settings, opponents like the Centurion are going to give you a lot of trouble, believe me. But 'tis not to be today. We now move on to the next opponent, the Viking. And the Viking, in my opinion, is honestly quite possibly the best character in the game. I'm talking pre-downloadable content. They're working on that at the minute. Out of the 8 basic characters, the Viking might just be the best. He's got some great weapons that can do serious damage. His speed is pretty good. His armor's pretty good as well. Can deflect a lot of weaker moves with that. The shield, again, all important. And most importantly of all, he has a move that if you nail it exactly right, it's a guaranteed one-hit kill. Trying to nail him with that final strike there. There we go. The final strikes you can do in any round of the fight you like, as long as your opponent's in a critical state. You'll hear their heart beating, and their energy gauge will flash if they get to that point. See there, that double spear throw that the Viking just used on me. If done right, that is a guaranteed one-hit kill. And it's also the easiest way to get the shish kebab achievement, but just bludgeoning him to death with the shield there. As I was saying, you can get the shish kebab achievement. You hurl the double spear exactly right, it'll take the head off and lodge it in a wall or in the floor, and that'll get you some gamer score. So next we come up to the mirror match. Your 5th opponent is always a mirror version of yourself. Generally, in fact always, always in the secondary armor. Obviously the knight wearing the blue, as I mentioned earlier there, so should be easy to distinguish the two. He's using the mace, as you can see there, so he's got a slight strength advantage over me, but I should have him for speed. Knight, honestly, is a pretty good all-round sort of character. He's not the fastest, as we've explored. His defense is pretty good, though, and the choice of weapons you get can be really quite devastating. Against the right opponents, you'll cause a lot of damage with the knight. And again, shield. You seriously cannot underestimate the importance of a shield. And down he goes, vanquished. Now, if you beat your mirror opponent in the 5th round, you will unlock that secondary armor, which is how you get the coat of plates for the knight there. So next video, we're going to move on to the samurai.